Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Robert with Daily Woodworks, and today I've got a super simple project that I thought I'd just make a film of. And what I'm doing is I'm making a little attic hatch for our cabin. We've got an opening in the ceiling that is 31.5 by 24 inches wide. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a 1x4 frame that then I will attach to the ceiling. And then I'll end up making this. I'm sorry, let me back up a second. So my opening is 24 by 30.5. I'm going to make my inside dimensions of this frame 23 by 29.5, so an inch smaller. I'm then going to make a board and batten panel that's going to be 23.5 by 30 that I can then insert in there and then drop down. This is going to be made out of beadboard. And you can see I've had beadboard here that's been in storage for a while. I need to clean it up a little bit, sand it a little bit. And then I'm just going to put the beadboard side facing down, put some clear coat on it, and go install it. Chop some of these 12-foot boards in half. Now I'm just going to line these up, and I cut them 36 inches long to give me the extra length I need, just to make sure I can get my finished size to what I need it to be. And I believe once you put all the tongues and grooves together, you end up with about 5 inches. So I need 23 wide. So I'm going to need 5 boards. And then I'll trim it an inch off of each side to get my width. What I need. 3/4 of an inch off each side. Good. Now I'm debating, should I glue this? And I could go either way on it, but I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I want to go ahead and glue this. So other than dropping all this on my foot, which really hurt because I was wearing tennis shoes, not work boots like I probably should be wearing. I got this glued up. I'm going to let this set up. Probably not even going to let it dry overnight, just an hour or two, let it stick together. And then I'm going to cut my battens now, and I'm going to put 1 batten, 2 battens, 3 battens, and I'm not going to glue those on. That way we can expand and contract a little bit. For my battens, I'm just going to put up the V-groove side of these. You can see you got your beadboard side, your V-groove side. I'm just going to chop off the first V, or the tongue end, and then come over probably 2 inches or so and do the other. Let's see what I can actually get out of this. I've got about 4.5 inches of material, so yeah, if I do 2 inches for each, that will work perfectly. So first thing I've got to do is cut off my tongue. So if I come from the edge over, I've got 4 11/16. Since my final width target is 23.5, I went ahead and cut my battens to 22.5. These are just going to get set aside for now, and now I'm going to make my 1x4s out of this tongue and groove board to make my picture frame. Alright, I need to do a little bit of math here. So I want this to be a 1x4, so that means it's going to be 3.5. 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7. So we're going to have 29.5 plus 7. So our half is going to carry down. 9 plus 7 is 16. 36.5 inches. So I'm going to cut all these boards about 40 inches. Just to give myself a little bit of wiggle room for cutting my miters, cutting out knots, things like that. Now I did this a second ago, but my miter measurements we're inside to inside. It's hard to mark that out. You can, there's ways to do it. But by just doing my math like I did a minute ago, 36.5 from outside point to outside point is really easy to measure, and I can actually set that up in my miter software. Now I'm fully aware that the Kapex and UG stand are stupid expensive and you don't need one to do woodworking, but I really liked how this whole system is set up where I can cut miters accurately by using the stop block. So I've got it set at 36.5. I'm going to go ahead and do my inside miter, 45 degrees right here. Correction, not inside miter, but just do my left miter. Now I'm going to do my right miter. I'm going to come back around, 45 on the other side. Right there. Got my stop block set up. And now I can measure long point to long point. 36.5, dead on. And that's one thing I do love about this. Can you set this same thing up with other miter saws? Probably. There's no need to do anything fancy joinery wise here, so I'm just going to put in a couple of pocket holes and call it good. My panel's set in the clamps for long enough. I've pulled it out. I'm going to go ahead and sand it good. And then I'm going to flip it over, sand it good there. And then I'm going to attach my battens. And then after I attach my battens to just make sure it's held together, I'm going to start measure. Then I'm going to measure and lay out everything on the back side. And then I'll make my final cuts, sand it, put my finish on it, and then it will be ready for us to install. Use my square, come up to the center of the bead, mark a line, and that is my center point. I need my width to be 23.5, so half of 23.5, half of 22 would be 11, so that would be 11 3/4. There. Yep, so we're just barely gonna cut off the groove there. So 11 3/4. Over here and do 11 3/4. There we go. Now let's double check, make sure it's 23.5, 23.5 on the money. So we're good there. Now we have our center line here, and that is 2 9/16 from the edge. So I can come down here to this one, and then do 2 9/16 from this edge as well. And that is my center line for my boards. So I use a little straight edge real quick. Some scrap plywood. And extend my center line down. And now, that's 11 3/4. Coming down. 11 3/4. to screw these down, I'm just going to use 1 1.25" screw in each batten. Just going to make sure I'm lined up here at the edge. And I'm just going to eyeball it. If this was going to be a show face and we're going to see the screws, I'd really take the time to lay out where the screws are going to go. But that is truly unnecessary in this case because it's just an attic hatch. I'm aiming for the center of each board. I've been experimenting with my own hard wax oil finishes. This is one I've come up with that I'm pretty happy with. I'm going to keep working on it, and then I'll do a video on it once I am happy with the results and can share the formula. Forgot my tripod, but here is where this is going. And I just got to attach it up there. I might have to notch it out with the jigsaw to go around that. I didn't think about that before I got here. I might even trim down the size of it. Not 100% sure, but we're gonna put it up there and see what we got and go from there. What I'm doing now is I'm taking 1 inch off of every side to make it uniform, and I'll come back in and just touch up those corners after I get it installed. That's one nice thing about using a hard wax oil finish is you can just wipe more on later. What I should have done differently, I should have made my frame 2 inches smaller than my opening. That way I would have had more overlap, and then I would have had room to make my frame 1.5 inches smaller than the opening and have more overlap. Right now I've got about 1/4 inch all the way around of overlap for that to sit on, which is completely fine. It fits in there nice and tight, looks great. I only have 2 screws in right now, the screw there, the screw at the diagonal. I just wanted to make sure it fit and everything situated correctly before I put more screws in. I'm gonna put 4 screws in total, and that will hold it in place, and that's how you make an attic hatch.